Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Angel. I make fashion, art, and lifestyle videos, and today we have an art video. In this video, I'll be showing you a month in life of a freelance artist. I typically work as a digital artist, which means I do digital illustrations, I illustrate for children's books, and I also do some book talks and some zine making workshops, and I'll explain what all of those commissions look like, as well as the pricing for those commissions and the timelines for these projects that I've had throughout the month of May. I'm also so excited to share this video as a part-time freelancer. Those of y'all who don't know me, I'm a full-time graduate student, and on top of that, I do also teach part-time. So I am a teaching assistant, which requires that I work 20 hours a week. Do have a, I guess, full-time career of being a student slash teacher, and this freelance art hustle is just something that I do on the side to both supplement my income as well as just make me really freaking happy, because doing art and connecting it with what I study, which is like Asian American, specifically Asian American women, Asian American youth culture, really makes me so happy. As I'll show you in this video, I really am meticulous about tracking how many hours I work for each project and kind of basing my current rates on the rates that I've been able to build up for myself over the past 6 years. As I showed in one of my previous videos, which is how much do I make as a freelance artist, and talk about my commissions from undergrad all the way to kind of being a professional now. I always try to keep a rate that is, you know, appropriate to my level of experience, and I'll just be talking about that more as I go on with each individual project that I show you, as well as showing you kind of things that I do while not really getting paid, but that are good for exposure and just getting kind of my work out there to a wider audience. Another question that I always get is, how do you find work? Most of the work that I'll be showing you in this video comes from personal connections, so mostly from my connections as a graduate student that I've made over the years, and mostly working with folks within the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. That's why I wanted to focus on a video of my commissions in May, which is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, just because this is one of my more busy months. But to be completely honest, I don't really reach out to anybody. I don't really plan to have a certain amount of commissions per month. Whatever I get just usually comes to me because a friend of a friend had seen someone use my art services before and recommended me. So I'm just really grateful to all of the folks who have been passing on contact info. And yeah, so it's mostly through friends of friends or kind of connections from grad school. So the first project that I want to talk about is a book talk for the Wing Luke Museum, and this was a relatively unpaid project. So at the end of doing my talk, they did give me a $20 gift card to one of my favorite boba places in the Bay, which is Tea Life. So that made me really happy. And again, this is one of those talks where I didn't get paid very much, but it gave me a lot of exposure. I'm so grateful for them, and thank you, Wing Luke, for having me as a panelist during your Book-A-Rama event. And here's how it went. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous for this book talk. I think I'm so nervous because when we did, what's going on with these sleeves? When we did a rehearsal, like a tech rehearsal on Friday, I realized that all the other presenters had something planned, and I actually didn't even know what this book talk would entail. So they were like, you want to practice sharing your screen? And I was like, I don't actually know what I'm going to share yet. The Thursday before the event on Saturday. I'm also a grad student, and that is why my head is like not always on my shoulders. It's been really interesting balancing my freelance art career while also being a student. And yeah, so today I just wanted to bring you through one of my book talks. Very first day of May, and if y'all don't know, it is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and so I'm doing an event with the Wing Luke Museum, which is in Seattle. It is a museum of Asian American history. They reached out to me back in like early 2020 or 2019, and they've been selling my book at their museum bookshop. They decided to bring me on for a book talk with several other authors and an illustrator, and they wrote this book, Awesome Asian Americans, 20 Stars Who Made America Amazing. And I'll be speaking with them about my book, which is We Are Inspiring the Stories of 32 Inspirational Asian American Women. So they're both very much on theme. I'm so excited to really get to know these other folks, and I'm also going to show you some behind the scenes clips.
Not the current version, WWF before 2000 version.
So this next commission was a zine workshop that I did with a small organization, and they actually asked me for my rates straight away. So I gave them what I thought would be a fair rate for leading about an hour-long zine workshop, and I negotiated for $150 to do this zine workshop. And they had actually asked one of my friends, Malika Garib, if she was able to do a zine workshop, and she was like, no, I can't do it. So she passed it on to me, and I'm just so grateful to have had this opportunity. And here's how that went. Hi everyone, today is May 5th, 2021, and today I'm doing a workshop. I got some of my example zines that I'm going to show. I have my piece of printer paper, several pieces in case I mess up, some scissors, my art supplies, and then I have this little setup. I'm gonna put my phone here so when you see the video, you'll be able to see. I'll have one zoom of just my hands drawing, and then I'm gonna have the regular zoom that's just gonna be me talking. So hopefully that adds some extra dynamic. It's just gonna be like a small workshop, and I'm really excited. This workshop is definitely like 1000% inspired by one of my friends, Malika Garib, and she does a ton of these kinds of zine workshops, and we actually did a workshop like this together back in November for Phil-Am History Month with the Smithsonian Museum Asian Pacific American Center. So I'm really excited to do kind of my own zine workshop for the first time. This is a spreadsheet that I made in collaboration with Ariana, who is leading this with me. So for the first 5 minutes, we just wait for folks to trickle in. And Ariana was great. She was actually playing music as the event started. And then we did introductions, and this was kind of like the check-in question. What are 3 words that describe you? And then I went into the zine kind of workshop, like what is a zine? And I showed my examples, and then we went into the prompts, and these are the prompts here. And then we just closed out. Okay, I am so chaotic. Like, for some reason, when I pick up a color, I don't put it back in the container. I just keep bringing out more colors. I don't even know. It's like, it was just midterm season, so, but the prompt was really cute to have people draw their quiet talents, just talents that people don't really know about, or like gifts that you have. You know, maybe you're good at chopping vegetables or singing someone to sleep, and how do they manifest in your life? Some of my talents are just reading for literal hours. I'm pretty good at buying boba for my friends and family, like going on boba runs, and then we'll drink boba and gossip. I'm good at drawing events behind the scenes. I'm really good at finding gifts at the thrift store. And then this one was just, I'm good at drawing chaotically. And the front cover is, for the prompt, what makes you feel strong? And I just put me lifting weights, like I took it so literally. I clean all of this up. This next set of commissions that I worked on is through Harvard. Both of them are through a Harvard connection. I didn't go to Harvard, but one of my previous professors, Renee Tajma Pena, went to Harvard. I had sketched a talk for her before when she did speak on a Harvard panel, and since then I've been so grateful to her for connecting me with other folks who want a similar type of what I call a visual note-taking style. It's like visual note-taking or event sketching, where when there's a Zoom talk, I will just be behind the scenes, kind of taking key quotes from the guest speakers, and also presenting them in this kind of like portrait comic way, and a lot of folks do enjoy this style as both a nice social media illustration as well as a keepsake to give to the guest speakers. And the first one was a anti-Asian hate panel that was created after the Atlanta shooting. I had so many feelings about that shooting, especially as an Asian American woman myself, so I really felt a lot of passion in drawing this panel and listening to the guest speakers, and I'm really glad to have been able to be commissioned for this talk. In addition to doing the digital illustrations, I also did prints, and I kind of walk you through the process that I used to do printing as well as framing, because after this commission I was actually connected to another Harvard alum who is part of the Korean American Community Foundation and did a commission for their annual gala, which included some amazing guest speakers, as you'll see in the illustrations. So for both of those commissions, I charged about $300, and I also included fees for shipping prints, purchasing frames, and I also got tipped, which was really nice. Thank you for tipping me. I know, as a freelancer, it means a lot when people tip. So tip your freelancers, y'all. And here's how they went. It's currently May 8, 9. Jeez, what day is it? Friday, May 7th. And I'm currently working on a commission. Sneak peek. Yep, and just finishing up some edits. And this is a commission for Harvard conversation they just had called After Atlanta. And I wasn't actually able to attend live, so this is sketching from recordings, and this drawing in total took about 3.5 to 4 hours to complete both of these panels. Okay, I never thought I would be paid to draw Daniel Day Kim. What a baddie. I'm also being paid to draw Aquafina.
Anti-Asian attacks. I'd like to dedicate this award to all of the young Asian American girls out there who often feel stuck between both worlds, two worlds.
So I just finished running errands and I bought like a ton of bubble wrap. So when I mail the packages later in their frames, they're not gonna get cracked or anything like that. And I also wanted to just show you what the prints from FedEx look like. You can't really print it without the bleed, so the bleed's going to be there. So what I should have done is made sure there was more of a margin. Like you can see, foundation is kind of cut off, and I had to fix with Sharpie the O in my name because the O got cut off. And that was the case for some of my other prints too. Like for this one, I ended up extending this line with Sharpie and just adding in my signature because it got completely cut off for this vertical style print. I also was asked to print out some horizontal versions because it's basically 2 squares, and I just laid them out on an 8.5 by 11. And here you can see my signature is intact. And that's where it got cut off for the vertical print. And for this horizontal one, I had to add Sharpie for these bubbles that got cut off. So that's just something to keep in mind. Just make sure you always have margins, and if you do print with FedEx, it will have this white border. You just have to make sure you do leave about like maybe like a 1/4 inch margin around, because I really did design to the edge, so that's why a lot of these parts were kind of cut off. And I designed it on my iPad for 8.5 by 11. 100-gram paper, and so I'm just gonna insert what my settings are. And I always use the same coupon code because it's usually just small orders like this. So I use the coupon code FedEx 10% to get 10% off. Like if your print order is more than $35, you can sometimes get more % off. But since my print orders are usually only like $10 or less, I typically just use that 10% off coupon, which has been great. Like it's fun saving money on California sales tax. This next panel was commissioned by my friend Mark, and it is a panel called Filipinx Veterinarians and Veterinary Student. Why is it Veterinarians? Anyway, from one student to another, I didn't want to charge too much, especially since, you know, for folks who are like my friends, I don't really charge them too much versus organizations or schools, you know, I tend to charge them more. So for this commission, I charged $100. So it's after classes on Tuesday, May 11th, and I'm currently doing a sketch based off a recording, and this panel is called Filipinx in Med, specifically a panel on veterinarian and vet students. So I'm just sketching from the recording, and hopefully I'll have this done by the end of the day. So this next project that I did was a children's book project that actually happened very, very randomly. It was around mid-May when Karen Uemoto from the Asian American Studies Center at UCLA reached out. She was like, I want to do a project making a children's book that helps Asian American students in the Los Angeles area, targeting kind of elementary, middle school, and high school students, combat anti-Asian hate and racism that they may experience online. And I was like, that sounds like such a cool project. So I hopped on it, and it ended up being a very long-term project. We had like weekly meetings for about an hour to 2 hours every Friday for like 6 or 7 weeks. I ended up doing all of the illustrations for the children's book that would be launching online. And it was a very collaborative research, writing, and illustrative project that turned into this digital children's book, which is so cool. I had so much fun collabing on it. This is how many hours that I worked on it. And in total, I was given $2,500. So it is May 12th, and I'm currently just coloring and listening to this audiobook, which is a book that I'm reading for my cultural studies seminar this week. And yeah, that's how you get some reading done while also doing some commission work. Audiobooks or even PDFs that read the books to you are so helpful. And if you go to the next part of the slide, then I would outline kind of the initial ones and finalize them in black and white. And these black and white pictures are now available in the coloring book PDF on our website. And then finally, the illustrations would turn out in full color. And yeah, so that was just a little brief show of what the process looked like. Thanks so much. And that is the end of my month in the life of a freelance artist video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful in some way, and I hope it inspired you to kickstart or continue your own freelance journey. I know it's a bit of a hustle, but you know, if you really love doing the work, I hope you're able to find those good commissions that you feel passionate about. And yeah, I hope you're having a great rest of your day. Feel free to leave any comments or questions down below. I hope to connect with you, and yeah, take care until the next one. Bye!